We are still on Murkomen, Amos Murkomen. We have, with every government, we always have a homeboy. A homeboy, a person who comes from near the president and who embarrasses the president, the government, and even the country. Today's homeboys are educated. Previously, many decades ago, homeboys were associated with people who are not educated. We have people like the Ugandan Maliamungu. The Ugandan Maliamungu was the homeboy during Idi Amin's time. But today, you'll find that homeboys are very educated. Look at the person of Kimunya. Look at the person of Kipchumba Murkomen. They are university graduates and very intelligent in their own fields. Look at Murkomen, a brilliant lawyer. Kimunya, I think, is an economist or a land economist, something like that. Very, very impressive CVs. But you see, they behave like Isaac Maliamungu. If today, for those who are not there during Maliamungu's time, if I have to talk of today's person, equivalent, and I want my age mates to correct me. There is this MP for Eldoret, Sudi, Oscar Sudi. Oscar Sudi can be a very good Maliamungu. But you see, today's government, they hire intelligent people. So they say, that is why they say that education is not intelligence. You can have a PhD and then still be useless. These people add no value to the government, even to the president. But the president can sink because of him. If you look at a person like Total Man, Nicholas Biwott, we are just talking of them quickly, we'll come back to them. He was educated, but what value did Biwott add to the Moi government? Moi could just dispose of him, but there's nothing he could do. But yet, he had those powers. These people have magical power. If somebody was illiterate like Maliamungu and Oscar Sudi, we could understand, we could appreciate. But these court poets of today are intellectuals. Now let me start with Kipchumba Murkomen. I think we should start with today so that we go back as far back as possible. Kipchumba Murkomen is not just a lawyer, but he used to teach law in the university. Somebody told me that it is Catholic University. But here is somebody who used to teach lawyers, and I remember that some of these justifiable instances, we had a lesson in Kiganjo which is called justifiable incidents of using a firearm. He never even made a reference to that. And I like the way the TV stations are doing. They are showing him telling the people, telling the police, mtu akikaribia police station, piga risasi. And then he goes and without blinking, tells the president that he never said that. If it was Kipchumba Murkomen, not Kipchumba Murkomen, Oscar Kipchumba Sudi saying that we could understand. But when people like Oscar Kipchumba, you know, there's a time he was complaining that the president did wrong by taking, when he heard that Kipchumba has been made minister, he thought it was him. And obviously he was joking. Um, if it was Kipchumba Sudi, Oscar Kipchumba Sudi saying so, we would have understood. But a teacher of lawyers, it shows that there must be something in the in government offices. And let me tell you one thing. I have come to realize that. Look at these people who are in the opposition. Look at the other day, what Rigathi was saying. Look at what he's now saying. I think it is just like the fence of heaven and hell, whereby conditions on either side is quite different. Now, if you find yourself in hell, you become devilish. And if you find yourself in heaven, you become angelistic. Everybody, including those who are in power today, just a few months ago, they were talking differently from what they're talking now. The same people who are supervising the abduction are the same people who a few months ago were saying, no more River Yala. We even now have a person. Anyway, Matiang'i, if I have to tell the truth, Matiang'i can be a very good governor. Could be a very good, not a governor like what we have. You know what we have in Kenya are people who should be called county mayor. County mayor like Mr. Ken of wrestling. We have county mayors. Otherwise, Matiang'i can make a good governor like the governor of Kenya during the colonial time, where the Secretary of State for colonies would send him to come and rule over Kenya. Matiang'i can make a very good governor. You see, he's a good administrator. I think of those people who are alive today, or those people who are in politics, active politics now, Matiang'i can make a very good administrator, but one of the worst politicians. So what I was saying is that in Kenya, we have two types of languages. Depending on where you are, you'll find that, I remember even the time when Kibaki was the president and Uhuru Muigai was called into a Kikuyu vernacular station, and he was criticizing Kibaki government. And people were saying, hey, we made a mistake of electing Kibaki. This young man is the one whom we should have elected. When he went there, he forgot all that and started behaving. There is something, kuna kauchawi. There must be a motiso somewhere with the miti shamba. You enter there, he he throws certain charms on you, and you become like them. And when you are leaving, he removes the charm, and you start reasoning like us. So that is about Kipchumba. When we come to Amos Kimemia, Amos, when he was, first of all, he was not a politician, and he has never been a politician. These are people whom, not Kimemia. I'm forgetting Kimunya, not Kimemia, Kimunya. Amos Kimunya. Amos Kimunya, these are people. And I want to thank Kibaki for somebody like Kimunya. I think he's a land economist or something like that. When you want to, I think these are things I would have to tell those people who want to be the president. Talent spot early on people who can work for the government very well. So Kibaki had already identified that Kimunya was a very good person who could run the government for him. So he convinced Kimunya to go to Kipipiri and contest to be an MP. When he went to Kipipiri, he contested to be an MP, he won. And that is the time when Kibaki became the president, and Kimunya assisted him to run the government. But when he went to run the government, as I said, as you enter that place, things change. If you ask me, I would say that most probably we have people who are called wenye inchi, wenye inchi. You see, if today, whom am I to mention? There are so many people there. There is Kalonzo Musyoka. There is many people. If tomorrow Kalonzo Musyoka is elected the president, these people just go to State House and tell him, congratulations, we have installed you and this is what you're going to do. They wait for you to vote for somebody. Whoever you vote for, then they go and convert. That is wenye inchi. So when Kimunya went there, started messing around, and Khalwade started saying Kimunya must go, Kimunya must go, and you know that. And Kimunya, he said, I'd rather die than resign. And even went to those sides of his, Kipipiri area, and he was telling the people in Kipipiri, it is not me they are targeting, it is you whom they are targeting. You see, I've always said and I'll always say, when somebody is fooling you, is putting you in that level. If someone is fooling you to the level of thinking that you are a baby, danganya toto jinga, then that is how it is. Now Kimunya telling his people that it is not me whom they are after, it is you whom they are after. So that is how these people are. I'll talk about Isaac Maliamungu. Isaac Maliamungu was the total man during Isaac Maliamungu was the total man during Nani's time, Idi Amin's time. There is somebody who wrote a book, I'm forgetting it. He said Henry somebody, who wrote a book of State of Blood in Uganda. He says that before, when Obote was the president, Maliamungu was a guard in a certain factory where this honorable's brother was the managing director, or as we call it today, the CEO, chief executive officer. Whenever he used to go and visit his brother, Maliamungu would open the gate. These are the people, the watchmen, that Amin employed. And he rose through the rank and became a full colonel or colonel. Now, Maliamungu was the total man there. Speaking as a Kenyan, we are victims of Maliamungu. Maliamungu's wife had a business shop in Kampala. If you know anybody from Murang'a, tell them to watch this video. Maliamungu had a shop in Kampala. His wife used to run the shop, and he was untouchable. So there is Kungu Karumba from Murang'a, who used to supply things with the lorries to Kampala. And if you look at the picture of Kungu Karumba closely, and you look at the pictures of Kenyatta before Jomo Kenyatta became the president, you'll see they resemble a lot. But before Kenyatta became the president, he had a dental formula which was not good. So when he became the president, it was amended. And you see, there is this fashion. You can see when some TV programs, when you are going there, they spouse you or something like that. But the original Jomo Kenyatta before independence, if you take a picture of him and you take the picture of Kungu Karumba, you'll find that Kungu Karumba resembled Jomo Kenyatta. So one time, he took a lot of things, a lorry full of things to Uganda, took it to Isaac Maliamungu's shop. When he went to Isaac Maliamungu's shop, he was waiting to be paid so that he comes back to Kenya. He stayed in Kampala for quite some time. But you see, we have some people who tell you, kuja kesho, you come back tomorrow, kuja kesho. They tell you that so that you come regularly until you reach a time, then you give up. They tell you come tomorrow, but they have no intention of paying you. After Kungu Karumba went to Mrs. Maliamungu's place and asked for the things several times and saw the trick, he told Mrs. Maliamungu that he, he look at me. They faced each other. Look at me. Don't you see I'm Jomo Kenyatta's brother? I am Jomo Kenyatta's younger brother. I am Jomo Kenyatta's younger brother. And if you don't pay me my money, I am going to tell my brother to ask Field Marshal Idi Amin to return my things. That is what killed Kungu Karumba. Isaac Maliamungu would not allow that. So he was killed and fed to crocodiles in River Nile. When you appear on TV, I have appeared on TV several times, several stations. When you have a YouTube like this one, be very careful with what you talk. Recently, we had a young man called Musando. Musando was told that Kenyans are very tricky. He was told that Kenyans are very tricky in that they can hack any computer. Recently, they hacked the Tanzanian computers and placed there, was it the National Police or something, placed there an announcement that the president, Madam President, had died. So he was told that Kenyans could hack the IEBC thing and place there what? They could hack that and change the password and in a typical Nyakach accent, I don't know whether he comes from Nyakach, but in a typical Karachuonyo accent, he said, the password for the IEBC is my fingerprint. You have to remove my fingerprint to get the password. You see, a lot of people are watching, including this one. So what happened was, those people knew, they went, got him, took him back to the IEBC, used his fingerprint to open, as a password to open, and then changed the password. Yeah. They could not, do you think they could leave him alive after that? So they took him away. So that is how Maliamungu killed Kungu Karumba, and that is how Musando also died, threatening, exposing. Now, Mrs. Maliamungu knew that if this thing reached Jomo and Idi Amin, it would be different. So this fellow had to die. And you see, these people, they don't care. The brother to the president. So, of course, Jomo Kenyatta later asked Idi Amin to investigate. And when Idi Amin called his director of CID and other people to investigate, Maliamungu just told them in the presence of the president, wachana na huyo, just do other, you don't have important things to do. So that is how these total men are. Before I move out of Maliamungu, I want to say that Maliamungu, that was not his real name. He was called Isaac Lugonzo. He was called Isaac Lugonzo. When he started rising up from private is like constable. He raised up so quickly, and he acquired a lot of properties so quickly that people started asking him, and how is it that you are getting your properties so quickly? And whatever he said, hiyo ni mali ya Mungu. Hiyo ni mali ya Mungu. And that is how the name Maliamungu came. And then people also, I find a lot of people confused, especially young people, as to how this gentleman got the name Total Man. His full names were Kipiator Nicholas Kiprono Arab Biwott. If you look at people today, people who are older than me, I mean, during Jomo Kenyatta's time, it was encouraged for people to use two names. I remember even I was in primary, we used to use two names. I remember my books used to be written James, then S stroke O Kwatenge. That is how it used to be written. Those days, you that is why you have even the confusion. You find people saying at Eugene is a son to Wamalwa Kijana. No, what used to happen those days is that they write you are a daughter of so and so or son of so and so, but they don't write the name of your father. They write the name of the person who pays school fees. Those days they could not differentiate guardian and parent. So you find people like even Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta's father was called Muigai, but his stepfather, who was also his uncle, the brother to his father, the younger brother, that is widow inheritance, was called Ngengi. So when Jomo Kenyatta was in Thogoto, he used to be called Johnston Kamau, son of Ngengi. So you now know that. So previously people used to have two names, but somewhere and if you insisted, then you could get three names. If you insisted, you could get three names. Nowadays you're even allowed to have up to four, but Biwott had four names when people are using two or three. This is how it is. We have Christian names, isn't it? Or is it European names? His name is Nicholas. His name was Nicholas. Then we have the traditional name, like me. My traditional name is Huatenge. But Nicholas, his traditional name was Kiprono. Then his father's name, Arab Biwott. Just like I can be called James Kwatenge Arab Lando. Of course, I was named after my grandfather. So you find that Nicholas Biwott, his names were Nicholas Kiprono Arab Biwott. But he deliberately placed the name Kipiator ahead of Nicholas. It is very rare. It is very rare to find people. It is very rare to find people today. It's very rare to find people today having the Christian name in the middle. But he placed there to place Kipiator. Kipiator is somebody's name, but also Kipiator in Kiswahili is Kiongozi. Kiongozi. So it is Kiongozi Nicholas Biwott Arab. No, Kiongozi Nicholas Kiprono Arab Biwott. So that is how it came about. What happened with him, with his being, what came about with him being called Total Man? Well, the president went, the then President Moi went with a delegation to Australia. When he went to Australia, we have these people who work in hotels. They are called housekeepers. Housekeepers is a polite word for watu wa kusafisha, kupanguza room na kubadilisha matandiko. So there was a lady who was a housekeeper in Australia whom Biwott tried to make what do you call, and diplomatic moves. Biwott tried to make a diplomatic moves, and the lady raised concern. So when she raised concern, it was made. It was decided by the government, the Australian government, or is it New Zealand? Anyway, there's no difference between Samburu and Somalis. No, Samburu and Maasai. So whether it was New Zealand or Australia, the government there decided that Auckland is in it is in Auckland. Auckland is in New Zealand. So he decided, the government of New Zealand decided to chase him away. So he went and waited for them at a place. When the Kenyan government had cleared whatever had taken them there, they came back with him in Kenya. And so he was asked, is it true that you had a undiplomatic move to a lady housekeeper there. Then he said, I am a total man. I am a total man. If you know, he was asked in English. If he would have been asked in Kiswahili, he would say, mimi ni ndume, mimi ni ndume. So that is how the name total man came in. But then, knowing total man as I knew him, because I was the deputy intelligence boss in Elgeyo Marakwet. This is somebody who was very mystic, both before Ouko's death and after Ouko's death. Imagine, people came to know of his residency in Nairobi after he had died. Even the president himself did not know where Biwott was staying in Nairobi. That is how he was. He was a mystic man. But I have a strong feeling about Ouko's people. I have a strong belief about Ouko's people. You can call it tribal if you want to. But don't murder a person from the lakeside. Don't murder a person from lakeside. You live to regret. Or if you murder, accept to go through the due process of law. Be taken to court, be found guilty of murder or manslaughter. But if you have connections in the government or in the judiciary and your murder case doesn't go through and you kill somebody from the lake, I tell you, they have some things that they place in the court. They are placed in Ouko's court, and many people who dealt. Okay, we have people. Ouko died in 1990, and for anybody who was 40 or 50 years in 1990, you expect him to be dead by now or something. There are those who died natural death, but a good number died because of Manyasi, which was placed there. And there are so many cases. Onani Anguka is still alive. Anguka had a secretary called Akinyi, and I don't know whether Akinyi is still alive, but John Anguka is still alive. What used to happen is when you enter your office, first of all, you meet your secretary, and then you go to the inner office. And as you pass by the secretary, she's rushing through the day's newspaper. And when you come, she hands it over to you. And you ask, Akinyi, how was the day? Is anybody whatever? After that, you take the newspapers and go to your. He would come back and shouting, telling Akinyi in vernacular, can you tell Ouko to get out of my chair? Akinyi would go there. I'm saying this because Anguka is still alive. I don't know whether Akinyi is still alive. Akinyi is her real name. They would go back to the office. Akinyi would see nothing, but Anguka would say that he's seeing Ouko seated on his chair. That is how. Don't try again. If you are planning to kill a Luo, be very careful. That is what happened to many of those people. There was also Ezekiel Yugi. There's Ezekiel Yugi, whom before he was taken to the plane to fly out, he talked in Luo, and the exact word he said, translated into English, was, "Whatever I did, I did not do it on my own volition. It is instructions that I was given." Although we have to say the truth is that Moi government did not want to release Ezekiel Yugi. The Moi government did not want to release Ezekiel Yugi for treatment abroad because they were fearing that maybe he's malingering and he wanted to go abroad and then use that opportunity to expose the government secret. It reached an extent where he was told, this man is dying. If you waste your time, he'll die. But then even before he died, he said, just before he was placed on a plane to go away, he said, whatever I did, It was not on my own volition, but it was instructions that I was given and I followed.